Well, I got my laser line, I marked my joist. Now I'm going to take my tongue and groove and put her up with some 18 gauge 2-inch nails. Reason I wanted that line is for this reason here. See this? You never have a straight wall. So if we can get it on a straight line, then whatever starts well will end well. So let's see. Try to keep your nail back enough that you don't see it. And right. That looks good. Check my line. That looks good. And what we want to do is probably whitewash this. Dawson said that he'd like the looks of that versus just solid paint. And that'll let some of the wood grain show through. And I've got I think it's a Werner portable scaffold I've had for years. I think I'm going to use it once we get going. And I can roll it around. I like to move the ladder quite so much. But if I start straight, she should end good. And then straight on the opposite wall. And if you can keep your nails closer to that tongue versus in here farther, then they won't be seen. So you gotta be careful putting your nails in. And I thought of a crown molding, but there is some molding that's custom molding that kind of matches this around the fireplace in the living room. So I'd probably be using something like that. And that way we got continuity from room to room. It's always nice to have things match. And I just got impatient. I had put a coat of joint compound on things and you know, waiting for it to dry. I had a fan running and I was like, I'm not going to stand around. So I start on the ceiling. I'll work my way back and forth and do different things, but I want to get this ceiling up. Some of these boards have like a little dirt mark on them. So I think what I should do is bring in some sandpaper or sander and just sand any of them first. I don't want to do it upside down. And let's see what we got here. See, I can use this as a mark on it too, but I can use random lengths just so my seams don't line up. And so I'm going to cut a bunch and get them ready and get them sanded, touched up a little bit, and we'll nail them up. I got a 4 1/4 inch hole saw. This is where I want it centered on. So it's centered to the window. And I'm just going to pick the center of this board. Now this might be hard to hang on to, so I might do it in reverse to get her started. And that'll get me into it. Let's see what it'll do here. And it's really biting. This is a carbide. It's pretty sharp. but it should be clamped down on something. So you'll take your wrist right off, so turn your clutch down. Yeah. So I'm probably, I got a drill press, I could run it out in that. Let's see. Yeah, I also have a jaw horse I could bring in and clamp our boards in that. We'll wreck the joint here, right? Turn the clutch up a little. Wrong way. A lot to hang on to here. Just an elbow. This dishwasher is going to be replaced along with the sink, if you're wondering. I've already purchased them. The dishwasher, it works. It just doesn't dry well. And it's got a crack in the side. That was a project. So we got that one done. Let me run the sander over it. There we go. Now let's put her up in place. See how our light works. We have to unhook it. We've got our junction box there that we can get to. And always make sure you don't hide one in the wall or somewhere. I centered this with the sink. And let's see what we got here. Some of them you gotta tap in. Not quite. Let me do one end and one end bounces back out. So get her nail in her. See how our light works. And these slim lights are designed to go over top of a joist. Where this one is centered with a window, I thought I'd have to be slightly off, and that would bug me. So we're going to put it centered. Push her up in. Squeeze your little springs. Let's see how it works. And I gotta turn it just a little bit. Springs are pretty strong, so they'll definitely hold it up. A quarter. She should fit. Usually you're putting in drywall, you know. There she be. Pretty, huh? And we could change the light on this. Can you see it? Let's see if I can find the switch. Here's a switch I gotta remember on this one. It's on which side? Here somewhere. Hold on. Let's see. Tell me I gotta get a flashlight because I can't see up in there. It is. I can't remember. Is it on the end? There it is. Yeah, it's on the end. See this? You got a warm. You got 5 different settings. And for now, I'd like it bright over the sink, so I'm doing dishes I can see. How's that look? And that's on a separate switch. I like it in the center of the board versus over 2 boards. And if I don't like it there, we can lower it down for the soffit. It's plenty of room. So what I thought of here, maybe I'll take and do the soffit over the cabinets and join way back up just to make this look more expansive. Is that right? The higher over the sink. If not, like I said, I'll run the soffit right straight across. If so, I might use them in the soffit. Who knows? But this is looking good. It's just the starting is difficult sometimes. Tap and go. Some of the boards that got a little warp or damage in them, you just cut them off. I want to stagger the seams. You see there's, 16 inches in between. The next row is over a few. Just make them random, I know the long boards, I'll need a helper and a beaten block to get them in. But this should look pretty sharp. It's coming along pretty good. The boards that are warped, you just cut them in the bow part and then they get to fit better together, and it turns out nice fitting in there. See this one and that one, they line up on the edge. Well, all 3 of them lined up on the edge of the board, so the finish cut is on the next piece, so it looks good. And then they stay in a straight line too. So coming right along. I'm liking it. Well, I got about 4 foot of it done. Looks pretty good. Everything's lining up nice. It looks sharp. I guess we'll think whether we're going to paint it, whitewash it, white or gray. I'm not sure. Well, I'm almost halfway. Trying not to get the seams to line up. I'm cutting around some of the knots in the boards, and there's a couple splits and cracks, that kind of stuff. And I think it's looking pretty good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. Now we're coming across to the bar light and this light. These 2 will be straight in a line, but that one, I might move that over a little bit, actually, so all 3 will be in line. We moved the location of the bar here, and we added that end of the cabinets on, so I don't really want that light on a diagonal in front of the fridge. It's actually going to be in front of the food pantry. I like to move it over almost to the center of the 2 cabinets that'll be there. Alright, put this last little light up here. Hear that? She's in. She works. What do you think so far? I put another light over here because we added cabinets on this wall, and then I thought if there was a light behind us, maybe back up here, cameraman, take a look this way. We'll move this out of the way, but come over here, and we're gonna put like 2 cabinets here, and without that light it'd be super dark. We'd rely on the other under cabinet light. So it's come along. Here's our dimming switch. You want the honors, or here, I'll do it. You shut these down. There's our hall light coming in through the garage, and then this is the kitchen light. And then now we're on to This will be our bar lights. It's on a dimmer. So this will be nice. So a little ambiance, right? When we're having our Italian dinner at the bar, I guess. So I want to get all these boards up. We got quite a few left to go. I got about 3.5 feet more to go before I do the hallway. I had to order one more light to do the hall. And so what we got is the walls to patch yet. But this video was on doing the ceiling. So I'm going to stay focused on that. Get this finished right out to here. And then I'm going to hold off on the molding trim. And let me show you what that trim is again. So here we are above the fireplace. And what we got is just like the rest of the trim in the house. That up there is like a 1x4. And it's got a chamfered edge on it. And then it's got another 1x2 or so with another chamfer edge. So I think that's the molding we want to do. Oh, there's a squirrel. How you doing? He wants to see what's going on. Right, Dawson?
Yeah.
Tell him how you did in bowling tonight. Practice.
I did pretty good. I shot a 728, and I had a 279 my last game.
Wow. We're hoping he's going to go to the States and win big this year. What place are you in New York State right now?
Well, I'm in first for the MAC.
First for the MAC, but what about the whole year?
I don't know quite yet. But
well, last year.
Last year I placed 13th.
13th right up till today, because you'll get a new placement here in another month, right?
Yeah.
So 13th out of the whole New York State. We got a double header here, 2x10s. And they're carrying 16 foot across. They're 12 inches on center, and we found a couple hangers with no nails in it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Mr. Inspector missed that, didn't he? So Dawson's throwing a few nails in. Every time you're in a project, guys, if you have a chance to gut it so that you can see what's behind there, you always find a problem. We got the lights upgraded out here, and I got about 3 feet left. But look at that wiring mess over there. There's like 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 wires running across there to that. So I'm going to have to trace them out and see if they're necessary. And check out what we're going to have for dinner. Dawson's grandmother stopped over and she brought a Market Fresh pizza. Does that look delicious? And Dawson added peppers, onions. What else you put on there? It's got some chicken, some pork, some hamburger, onions. It's a supreme now. That looks delicious. Thank Grandma for that. We're under a storm watch here. They canceled school, so Dawson's helping me this morning. Putting up our last seam board before we come to the hallway. I'm waiting on my lights coming in a couple days, so I go a little bit, but then I gotta change the wiring. And this is looking pretty good. Not too bad. Okay, now we're gonna finish up this hallway here. Dawson put joist hanger nails in where they were missing. There was a whole bunch of them missing into the header there. And I cleaned up these wires. They didn't really make a lot of sense to me. What they did is they switched the white wire and didn't mark them. And so we got them all in the junction box here now. We're going to call that the junction box. We got a new light up. And we're going to run the pine ceiling right over to this end and finish it. And I'm probably not going to do moldings yet. I'll probably wait to the end, because I want to paint the walls, and there's no sense of putting your trim up and then painting. Might as well paint, then set the trim over the fresh paint. All right, the ceiling's officially finished. Now we just have trim. Looks good, don't it? And I'm going to do some whitewash on it. This is Country White. I've had it for years. It's Walmart Color Place Interior Flat. what I want to do with that is use it for the ceiling. I'm going to get a separate container of some sort, maybe even that coffee jug over there. And I want to mix up, well, if we were going to paint this, we would probably need about 1 gallon to paint the ceiling. And because we're whitewash and we're putting on real thin, wiping it off, probably not a lot. I don't know if we're going to use a half a gallon. So I want to mix it up small, and I want to probably control how much water. I want it probably 2 parts water, 1 part paint. I want it to go on so we can still see the notch, you know. What's nice about the can is it's got increments in them little lips there. So that's 2 to 1, you know, 2 parts water, 1 part paint. And I got my sample boards, a brush, and I got a couple rags, and I found this in the pile here. This is what I got for 400 hours at the Habitat for Humanity. I volunteered 400 hours, helped build a house. They gave me t-shirt recognition. So what I want to do is I just want to take, I don't know, a brush, or maybe I'll start off with a rag, just dip it in it. We're not going to worry about dirt, dust, that kind of stuff, because we're going to be wiping it right off, you know. So what I want to do is check the consistency, because I can add more paint. You know, you can add more water, add more paint. So that's kind of the look where we're looking for. It's going to be a little white finish, and we want to leave it on there. You know, if it's watered down like this, leave it on there maybe a minute. I don't know. And what I want to wonder, or what I'm wondering, is if I do multiple areas to once so I can speed this along, shall I stay on one board, just do one board, wipe it down, or should I move across? And I don't want to get it all blotchy, you know. So that's the look. It's just basically putting a little white on it, and then we just come back through and just wipe off the excess. You know, nothing spectacular. And that's all I'm going to do for a whitewash. So to flip this over, see the difference? We're getting rid of the yellow. So that's about it. I'm going to start over there in the corner, because that's going to be covered up with soffit anyway, and see if I can do multiple boards across and then wipe it and stay consistent. I don't want it blotchy. So this is all I'm doing. I'm just taking the rag. I probably should put gloves on, but this will wash off easy. I'm just going the length of the boards, leaving it on a little bit, and coming back and wiping her down. You want to go with a grain. I don't want the blotchiness, you know. So I've done this area here, and that's nice. See, so it's only a shade lighter. Leaving this on a little bit, and then I'll wipe her off. Here's a subtle difference. Staying on these boards, we got 4 by 12, a little more than that done now. So it's pretty quick. And we got a subtle change. We got a little protection on it. We can paint it down the road if we, you know, get tired of it. But I want to get the ceiling finished up. And then over here, we got to work on the light fixture and the base for that. I think I'm going to make it out of wood. That'll be kind of cool, I think. But I would like to get this all finished today. There it is. We got like 7/8 done. It looks pretty good. Check it out. All right, there we have it. All done. I think the next step I want to do is I want to, instead of making the molding right now, which we're got to do possibly a 2-piece. I might do 1 piece, but we'll see. And I want to copy the trim that's in here. Is possibly do the painting around where the cabinets are going to go. Get that out of the way. Makes it easier than trying to cut in around cabinets. And so we'll have to do some primer, some paint. I think we're going to pick a real light gray. And I don't know if we call it sky blue, but some kind of light gray Then we can move on to building the soffits. And Dawson mentioned maybe we'll do the vertical pine. So the same material that's left over, just come down the foot with it. So I might mock up a little bit, see if I like it. It was drywall and it had the border wallpaper on it. It's kind of dated. But if we do soffit, probably it would look good if the vertical boards were lined up even with the other boards, at least on the long runs. And there's a lot of building. I got to do an outlet over there yet, an outlet up above. So I got to frame this out. We're going to take the television and move it over onto there. And then when you're doing dishes or doing whatever over this way, you can see it. And if you're sitting at the bar, you can see it. So I think it's moving along pretty good. So follow along in the series. We'll see if we can get this kitchen done. Thanks for watching.